Did you know where America ranks globally in average IQ? You'd probably be shocked to find out. And it might actually make you question whether or not closing the Department of Education is really the right move. America has decided that our education system, after years of effort, billions of dollars, and at least one too many group projects, is just not worth saving. Naturally, then, the solution is to take it apart, all of it. On March 20th, 2025, an executive order was signed to begin the process of dismantling the U.S. Department of Education, because nothing says we care about students like firing the people in charge of helping them. Am I right? But hey, maybe if we decentralize everything and throw in a couple of state mascots, it'll all work out. Who knows? Today, though, we're breaking down what's actually happening, why it matters, and whether the US, ranked somewhere between not great and yikes in global education, is in the best position to be pulling off such a bold experiment. To understand what's happening, though, let's back up a couple days to March 20th, 2025, when the president signed an executive order directing the Secretary of Education to, quote, take all necessary steps to shut down the Department of Education to the maximum extent permitted by law. Translation, pack your bags, the feds are out of the school business. Now, the official line is this: we're returning power to states, parents, and their communities. The unofficial vibe, though, something between we don't trust Washington and have you seen our math scores lately? To be clear, though, this doesn't mean federal education funding is going away. Pell Grants, Title I funds for low-income schools, and special ed services under IDEA are all supposed to stay. Supposed to, just in someone else's hands. Whose hands? Who knows? So why, though, dismantle the Department of Education? Why dismantle a department that's been around for 40 years? For over 40 years, actually. Well, according to the administration, we've spent over $3 trillion since 1979 and still managed to make algebra feel like a foreign language. Reading and math scores are down, compliance paperwork is up, and some people believe that the Department of Education has become less about teaching and more about enforcing culture wars with a side of bureaucracy. Trump called it bloated, the secretary called it history making. I call it ambitious and probably a mistake, but who knows. The idea is, though, if we cut the red tape, give power back to the states, and remove federal oversight, schools will finally be free to flourish. Assuming, of course, that all 50 states simultaneously know what they're doing, which is a bold assumption. So what does all of this mean? Well, let's be clear. First, abolishing the department actually takes an act of Congress. And Congress, well, let's just say they've struggled to act on things like lunch, and they barely keep the government open. So abolishing the Department of Education, I'm not sure that they would agree on, or actually could do. In the meantime, though, the administration is gutting the department internally. Nearly half the staff have already been laid off. Civil rights offices, closed. National Center for Education Statistics, gone. Programs are being shuffled around and redistributed like Post-it notes. Student loans might end up under Treasury. Civil rights enforcement, maybe DOJ, or maybe your state AG. No one really knows at this point. And while the administration says this is all going to be orderly, I've seen fewer red flags in a bullfight, and it seems like utter chaos. But wait, the question is the US actually failing in education? Does something need to be done? Now, part of the justification for dismantling the department is the claim that the US ranks near the bottom, globally, in education. And I think that's true, but let's fact check it anyway, shall we? According to the latest PISA scores, which are scores international tests for 15-year-olds, the scores show the US is 6th in reading, which actually isn't bad, 12th in science, decent, but a thrilling 28th in math among 37 industrialized countries. So yeah, we can read about how bad we are at math, but did anyone think we were good at math? But the average IQ, 97.43. Global rank, 29th, right behind Estonia and just ahead of Malaysia. It's not terrible, but it also doesn't scream, let's do a DIY education system, does it? We spend more than most countries on education, around $15,500 per student. More than Finland, more than Canada, more than we probably should on smartboards that no one knows how to use. So the real issue isn't always how much we spend, it's how we spend it. And whether every state, left to its own devices, will spend it well. And I'm guessing they probably won't. So what could actually go wrong? Well, opponents say removing the federal backbone could lead to chaos. But things don't really seem that orderly now, do they? I mean, states with great systems, they might get better. States with less oversight, though, fewer resources, and a history of underfunding schools, I mean, they might give kids school textbooks from 1997 and just call them vintage. Who knows what they'll be teaching? Civil rights enforcement could weaken, data collection could vanish, and consistency across the country. Let's just say, good luck transferring credits from Alabama to Oregon when they're no longer playing the same game. But supporters say states could innovate, parents will have more to say, and federal red tape won't get in the way. But whether that leads to renaissance or a really expensive group science fair fail remains to be seen. Or are we handling the keys to the school bus to 50 different drivers, all arguing about the radio station? I mean, time will tell, assuming we're still doing history class. But overall, it seems like utter chaos. I mean, if we're ranked 29th globally, I don't know if dismantling the Department of Education is really the right step to take. I mean, it hardly seems like the Department of Education is the reason why we're ranked 29th globally or scores are down. But who knows? I could be wrong. I mean, hear me out. There is a scenario where we keep the Department of Education, but parents still get a say or more of a say in what's taught to their kids. I mean, it's all at a local level anyway with school boards. I mean, I'm a parent myself, and the school board controls what the kids learn. So it's not really the federal government that's sitting in on the school board of at least the county that I'm in and telling my kids what they need to learn or what they don't need to learn. So it seems like it's a bold move that's just meant to stir up the pot or at least get people talking. If you found this video educational though, ironic, or slightly depressing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments whether your state is ready to run its own Department of Learning stuff. Until next time, stay sharp, read things, and maybe brush up on your fractions, just in case. Seems like everybody's gonna be on their own.